to the stream. Hello and welcome to NoCB, a Korean strategy podcast. The browser share is also now broken.
We're pros here, y'all. Total pros.
Oh, okay.
We're cursed because both Loris and Lambert were lost in black holes today.
Yes, and I was trying to get our host template to show with only 2 people, and that just completely was not working. Oh, there we go. We got the browser share. Yeah, our normal OBS template. I tried my best to get it working with 2 people before we went live, but I could not figure it out. Most of you listen to this on audio version anyway, so it won't really matter. I'm Liana. I'm your host, joined this week only by our friend Enigmatic Rose 4.
Hey there.
And there's not a lot of news to go over this week, so it's going to be probably a kind of a quicker, more tangent-filled episode than usual.
I do have to say,
yeah.
Why is your browser in light mode for Twitter?
Because I haven't bothered to change it, I guess. I do use dark mode on my phone. I just haven't bothered to change it.
For shame.
On desktop, I know, it's shameful. Now my cursor is gone, so that's pretty cool.
That should be, if you right-click the browser entry and do properties, there should be a checkbox for mouse.
Okay.
Or you can do that.
Right-click the browser entry?
In your OBS.
No, my browser is completely gone. My cursor is completely gone from Windows. It is not showing up at all anywhere. Yes. Yeah, so this is super cool right now. The weird thing is I can see it on the screen share on our Discord call. But this is the most technically cursed episode of NoCB, I think. And that's really saying something.
Loris cursed us last week.
Yeah, I literally have no idea what's going on. I can't, my mouse is gone. Okay, there we go. It came back. All right, great. Sorry about all of that. Let's talk about some of these teasers we got to see for Victoria 3 this week. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do the topic?
Yeah, we got 3 teasers.
Were there 3? I have 2 pulled up. Did I miss one?
I thought I shared a third one.
I have the China one, and I have the Glass Factory.
Well, yeah, and then we have the teaser of a teaser that we're looking at right now on screen. Before that, there's actually a teaser of a teaser where they said, the first link I shared in our Discord.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. The one where they're just announcing that there's going to be something exquisite.
Yeah, the teaser of a teaser.
Right, yeah. Yeah, classic game dev teasing a teaser, yeah. So no idea what that's going to be. But they did show this little blurb about China, talking about how it has the potential to be the largest market in the world. Strong ruler can overcome the obstacles they face. They can become one of the predominant manufacturers. I'm sure Loris would have a lot to say about this if he were not in a black hole currently.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm curious to see, because they've mentioned things like how it's going to be more difficult to educate China, just because when you hit that button that turns the institution on, the cost initially is based on your population in your states, and China is a huge country with
a lot of population,
lots of states, and yeah, I'm curious how viable it would be to turn them into a well-educated industrial superpower by the end of the game. Somebody, I'm sure, will figure out how to do it. But,
I'm sure Loris will do that.
I don't know. Do you think he's actually good enough at?
I don't know. He might do it just and make a comic of him failing.
Yeah. I know he plays a lot of multiplayer. I just don't know if he's actually good. I need to ask the people he plays with. Yeah, he doesn't stream, so it's not like I can go spy on him. I'll see him playing Hearts of Iron and Steam every. Yeah.
The only time we've played with him was that one Hearts of Iron game.
Right. And then we didn't. I don't think we even got that far, so I didn't get. I know I'm really bad at Hearts of Iron, but so yeah, this is cool though. I like that. It kind of seems like countries in Victoria 3, their start situation is going to be dictated more just by social and economic factors instead of like, oh, they have a mission tree that's slightly different from the people next to them or whatever.
Or they start with a gold mine.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a cool way to create different challenges. I'm definitely looking forward to taking on the challenge of playing China.
It will. Well, and then there's the question of, colonial powers and stuff interacting with China.
Right.
How that's gonna go.
Chat, what do you think? Do you think Loris is actually good, or is he just a scrub? I'm curious what your opinion is. Is he actually good at video games?
Well, Chad is saying we're doing shots fired, which I just want to say you're the one who said that, not me.
I thought he was referring to the fact that I accidentally played the gunfire transition like 5 times in a row when I was trying to figure out what happened to my mouse cursor. Ahmed Hamdi thinks he's actually,
yes.
Yeah. Although
yes, but with a kappa.
Right, so that might be sarcastic. Yeah. We'll have to find out. We'll have to do some investigations at some point. I think be some Victoria 3 multiplayer when that becomes an option.
We still need to do some CK3 multiplayer. I think we talked about.
Yeah. I actually have a weekly CK3 group with some old college friends. So yeah, I've played a fair bit. I might have played almost as much CK3 multiplayer now as I have single player.
I have not really played any because the only chance that we're trying was thwarted.
Let me let me see if I can find a screenshot really quick, because my friend Luke, who is a troll, let me see. Actually, I do have a picture of it. He made the Waluigi dynasty in our CK3 multiplayer game, and has slowly been spreading Waluigi genes across Russia. So yeah, that's been that's actually I think that's a second generation Waluigi. The original Waluigi looked like 5 times worse than that. But yeah, it's been pretty funny. Yeah, and then Mecha Reaper, who comes to the chat every once in a while, he's Arnold playing Arnold Schwarzenegger and made the Kingdom of Arnoldia. But yeah.
I mean, you should just be from Austria if you're gonna, make Schwarzenegger Dynasty.
Yeah, I told him that. He did a Varangian adventure to I think it was like Franconia or something. I was like, you were so close. You gotta go to, I think Styria is actually where the Duchy of Styria in CK2 is actually where.
I actually whitewater river rafted right past the villager was born in.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never been to Austria. I'd love to go sometime.
It was fun. I went to Vienna too once.
I'd love to see Vienna. Yeah, all the history there. I love mountains. I love mountain winter sports as a Colorado person.
Maria Theresa's palace.
Nice.
That was gorgeous. They also had really, really good apple strudel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've heard the food is really good, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my One of my favorite chickens lives there. So we have one other Victoria 3 teaser that Martin shared. I think this was this just today? Yeah, this was literally just today. Showing off a glass factory, some different ways you can use glass, which
and in plastics.
Right, you can eventually start making plastic housewares, which someone on the forums was asking if that actually was relevant in the Victoria 2 era or Victoria 3 era, which apparently it was. Apparently it was called like Bakelite or Bakerite or something. In the early 1900s, they started manufacturing not like disposable plastics like we have today, but plastic houseware. I guess we're getting pretty popular. Towards
and they weren't the same like
era.
quality as ours are nowadays.
Right. Yeah. So
you're being asked about the chicken.
Oh, Valor Gain will know what I'm talking about. that's a reference to the rabbit hole. So there's a couple people in chat will know what I'm talking about. Well, actually, no. She lives in Australia. I'm sorry, not Austria. I'm getting my facts mixed up.
Australia.
Yeah,
What's the difference?
Yeah. Austria is the real Australia. So yeah, I'm curious why leaded glass requires lead, but then also the next one after that still also requires lead. Like, didn't we?
I think crystal glass has lead in it.
Does
or
it?
it did.
Okay.
I think it did. That's why it's like so strong.
Okay, yeah, I think because I mean, eventually we stopped using lead in glass, didn't we? Like, we don't still make glass with lead, as far as I know. Like,
well, we definitely do it in glasses for drinking.
They still do use lead in those, or they don't?
I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just like I thought you just like sand. This is how little I know about like engineering. Is like, don't you just like get some sand and heat it up real hot and then? I guess if you're making like a mirror, they use like a silver foil or something like that. But yeah.
So, yeah, lead crystal glassware was formerly used to store and serve drinks, but due to the health risks of lead, this has become rare.
Okay.
One alternative material is crystal glass, in which barium oxide, zinc oxide, or potassium oxide are employed instead of lead oxide.
Okay, so Martin, this should be barium oxide. Come on. What kind of game are you
I don't know when they
here?
switched to that, though.
Well, it is crystal. The method is called crystal glass, so I don't know. Yeah, that might just
well, that's what they would use to make cut glass and stuff. It was different from just regular lead glass.
Okay. Yeah. And all this is like non-final too, so I don't know. They might have different ingredients when we actually the final game. So,
from the 18th century, English lead glass became popular throughout Europe and was ideally suited to the new taste for wheel-cut glass decoration perfected on the continent owing to its relatively soft properties. Interesting. So, oh yeah, there were people in Holland importing English glassware to engrave it and carve it.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
It was being towards the end of the 18th century, so getting towards the end of Victoria 3 period. Lead crystal glass was being produced in France, Hungary, Germany, and Norway. Ireland was also making lead crystal. Interesting. It wasn't until in 1932 scientists at Cumming Glassworks, New York State, developed a new lead glass of high optical clarity. Oh, and they became they're a division of Corningware.
I'm curious if I'm assuming you'll probably need like to research certain technologies to unlock these later ones. I'm curious how that'll work too. Yeah, so not a whole lot that we haven't already seen here, as far as I can tell. I was looking to see if there was like any little stuff in the interface that was new, but Doesn't look like it really. Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. If you have lead crystal, it's considered safe, or it's not considered a health risk to drink from it as long as you wash it thoroughly before use and do not let your beverages sit in it for more than a few hours.
Interesting. Yeah, I know. Like the really traditional Viking drinking horns, like the ones that use beeswax instead of resin. They say the same thing about it. Like you're not supposed to drink hot beverages out of it, and you're not supposed to let like anything alcoholic sit in it for too long. That'll start to break down.
And don't use lead crystalware daily. If you're using it like once a year at Christmas, you're probably fine.
Oh yeah. I guess we can probably absorb certain tiny amounts of heavy metals without too much problem. Well, that's all we got for Victoria 2 this week, but we also got a
Victoria 2?
Victoria 3.
We've gone back down in time.
My brain is fried. Yeah. This week has been absolutely crazy. We also got a Crusader Kings. What number are we on now? 3? Is it Crusader Kings 3?
Yes, we're on 3. We're only talking about 3s today in terms of PDX games.
That's true. Yeah. We got a teaser. Rose, what did they show us this week for the upcoming patch?
So they let us see the rest of the ethos that we haven't seen before for our new culture changing that's going to be our culture rework. We've got our communal, which seems to be focused on building and mercenaries, especially, at least if you're hiring the same culture mercenaries, you get them for cheaper. I guess they're like, oh, we'll help out a buddy for a discount.
Yeah, I think they Afghan is the example culture for this one. I guess that sort of makes sense. This kind of seems like it's something that we don't have like full mechanics to model yet, but that might get updated down the line. Like the fact that it's just building construction time and building cost. I'm like, I guess that makes sense for communal, but also there aren't really like mechanics yet to model like communal societies, so I don't know. That one seems a little bit like a placeholder to me. But
it feels like it could get added onto and tweaked when they come up with more expansions in the future. Like if you buy the 3rd expansion, whatever that'll be, it adds something to each of these ethos.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
We also have Courtly, which of course goes very well, I would assume, with the Royal Court expansion.
Yes. We even get a modifier we haven't seen before, which is Court Grandeur Base. So I guess Grandeur is, I guess it might be like Dread, where it's going to decay toward a certain number rather than just being a fixed thing. What that seems like it's saying.
I think that's what they said in one of the descriptions.
Oh, they might have already said that.
It's sounding like, it feels like it rings the bell. Like it'll go up or down slowly depending on where it is.
That makes sense, yeah. So you have to keep throwing parties to keep your grandeur up. That makes sense.
That title creation cost minus 15% though. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. It's still they still haven't fixed the it's not even really a bug, but probably an unintended combination of things where if you're tribal and your religion has pursuit of power, title creation is still free. I don't know if they'll ever do anything to address that. But yeah, for feudals, that definitely makes a big difference. Yeah. The French were the example they gave for Courtly, yeah, which I think
that just makes so much sense.
Yeah, that definitely fits at least the popular imagination of the French Middle Age.
French. And going off of that, we have the egalitarian, who are the Basque culture. Here's the example. You can have more your vassal limits raised, and different cultures and faiths like you. I guess, you get to survive.
Yeah, the vassal limit is pretty significant because I don't think there are actually that many ways other than
to
ranking.
raise it.
Yeah, other than ranking up like from king to emperor, like there aren't really a lot of ways to get more vassal limit. I like being able to keep my vassals small, so with that bonus, you might be able to have fewer kings in your realm, and they're always starting trouble. So,
Or more kings with smaller domains.
true, yeah.
We do have Agmade in chat saying that Basque was controversial in the comments. I haven't looked at the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of these are probably going to be controversial for the reasons we've talked about before. That like, if you're trying to say, you know, which of these cultures fits under which of these archetypes, I think no matter what you do, there are going to be people who disagree with it. Which is why I was kind of arguing for not having fixed cultural ethos.
Yeah.
Agavide, what were they mostly concerned about as far as the Basque go?
While we're waiting for him to type that out, we also have cultural acceptance gained is plus 35%. So
Right, which will probably be pretty powerful. We haven't quite seen how that works yet, but 35% sounds a lot.
Yep, I'm sure some people are going to argue about the ethos. Oh, the Basque doesn't fit them. Yeah, there's a comment pretty close up down there that says, have the Basques historically even had many people of foreign culture underneath them to treat acceptingly?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think they've always been fairly insular, in terms of insular might not be the right word. I think that means that they live on an island. Isolated. What is the word I'm looking for?
Secluded?
Yeah, like they don't. They kind of they have their own area, and they like uh inward perfection in Stellaris. What's the adjective I'm looking for? We put it in paradox terms for everybody. Yeah, it would be. I would not like if you gave me this job. I would be like, I don't know how you expect me to. Like
Yeah,
if you gave me the job.
Chat is saying that insular also works, or it
Yeah.
does work here.
I think we might have a slight audio delay happening. Insular also works here. Okay.
We do have our last one though, which is stoic for Poland. You get the disease resistance, which doesn't, I feel like, have a huge play at this point, but maybe we'll get some disease reworks in the future.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that that's a cultural thing, like that. But I guess I don't know. There's like the mind over matter, like too stubborn to die. Like there's actually like scientific proof of that to some degree, that people who like are, you know, are mentally
they keep fighting longer.
Yeah. Like they did like some sort of crazy experiment. I'm trying to remember where I read this about, but they took kids with like terminal diseases, and if they gave them a video game that was like you're gonna go inside your body and like shoot all the bad cells with a spaceship, that actually increased their survival rate or something like that. So like they're like our bodies can do weird stuff. Like our brains can do weird stuff that I don't think we fully understand yet. As far as
we do have Dogberry in chat saying it could also be related to how they handled outbreaks, such as you're very stoic. You know, you don't give in and go, oh no, my spouse is super sick, but I need to stay away from them for the kids. But
yeah,
you push through it.
Yeah,
you do what you have to do.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty useful one, especially if you try to stay pagan as the Polish. You get attacked a lot, because I've tried to do that run a couple of times, so that will be very useful.
And you have less friendly fatal casualties, stress gain.
Right.
So if you do lose one, your son gets killed in the battlefield, you don't get quite so stressed about it.
Yeah.
Even though he's less likely to die.
But yeah, like I was saying, if you gave me this task, like, okay, you need to go to every culture on the map and pick one of these ethoses that we've created, and you need to make sure you're not going to upset anyone, I would just be like, yeah, that's impossible. I can't. I can't even imagine how I would begin to do that. So, yeah. I am sure there will be much spirited discussion over which cultures should have which ethos, but I think I generally agree with the comments that egalitarian doesn't quite make sense for the Basque. I think they might have pulled that from the fact that they had more gender equality than a lot of other cultures at the time did, but that's not exactly the same as saying they were accepting of other cultures.
And it doesn't line up with the bonuses that they have there. If it was something tied to culture about, oh, women can hold titles or something,
and
that would line up.
Culture acceptance gain, like there are still Basque separatist movements to this day in 2021. So I don't think that they've accepted Castilian culture. Still even now. That's
well, or if it was something like, oh, genders are more equal, so development increases because people are working together better or something inside the culture. If it was more like an internal cultural sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, Dogberry's asking, wasn't the Polish region one of the larger plague exclusion zones in CK2? I think it was, which, from what I've read recently, that's kind of disputed now. Like, there used to be, like, this, theory that Poland, like, just didn't get hit by the Black Death, and everyone was trying to figure out why that is. Some of the more recent articles I've read about it are more like, well, it might have just been that they didn't have very good records, and they did get hit by the plague the same as everyone else, but they just didn't keep very good records of it. So, that's it is playing into like a pop history narrative that like, oh yeah, Poland was immune to the plague, but we're not even sure if that was true anymore. Or at least the theory is disputed at this point. So I think we had one other. The only game we're talking about that does not have a 3 in it this week. We had a very, very small teaser for Hearts of Iron, which is just showing off the
Patriarch of all Russia as a focus. Right, focus?
Right.
Not focus. Whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's a focus. Yeah, they're called focus. Yeah, so this will be
okay. Which makes me think Russia's going to get a tree rework.
Oh, they definitely are. Yeah, they have to. This looks like it'll probably be like the monarchist path. Like if you try to keep the Tsar in power, you can
bring the Tsar back. The Tsar is kind of gone.
The Tsar's already. My brain's still stuck in Victoria 3. If you try to bring the Tsar back, or I don't know, maybe this will be shared with the democratic path. Like if you go democratic, you can get the church on your side. That would kind of make sense because you'd have a common enemy with the Bolsheviks or whatever.
What would be interesting is, don't they have like, you can get Queen Victoria if you do like the monarchist for Germany or something? Something weird. Well, what if they did an Anastasia?
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if it's not on the focus tree. I bet you it'll be like a random event, like you were saying.
A random event.
Like a small
like a small, because the Victoria one can only happen if you go monarchist and the Hindenburg doesn't blow up. So this would be like that small sliver of a chance.
Right. Valorgain is saying it also might be Stalin appointing new church leaders, which happened historically. I didn't actually know about that. I thought he basically just hated the church. I know he wasn't able to get rid of it completely, like they wanted to. Yeah, I don't know a ton about Russian. Westerners and their Anastasia obsession. Well, yeah, they made an animated movie about it
The movie.
when we were kids. Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah.
In
So
the dark of the night, evil will find you. Find you. Good old half-dead Rasputin singing that with his bad friends.
no, I want
His bad servants.
I want a Rasputin path where you can just make Rasputin the sorcerer king of Russia, and
Oh, I'm being shamed by my own emote.
oh no. Allergade's specifying he did hate the church, but in World War II they were more tolerated, and there was a Soviet-appointed patriarch, I believe. He's not dead. He can't die. He's sleeping. He'll get better. Don't worry. Yeah. Well, that's all the Paradox news for this week. But also, I believe we've both been playing quite a bit of Old World. Did you guys? I haven't edited the episode yet. Did you guys talk about it at all last week?
No.
Okay,
because
cool.
we put it off since we knew that you had been doing some research on it or playing it or something.
Yeah, I'm reviewing it. I don't know if my review will be up today, but if it's not up today, it should be up tomorrow. So I don't want to spoil the score or anything. But what have you thought of it so far?
I'm liking it. I love the fact it's kind of like CK3 meets Humankind.
Yeah,
I would say that more than Civ.
I was calling it like CK3 Lite or Crusader Kings Lite. Like it's not quite the character system isn't quite as in depth as Crusader Kings is.
No. But I have had a grand adventure with my daughter. Like,
oh yeah,
anyone who watched my stream last Thursday, it was an adventure. It felt like CK3. Everything she just kept putting through, and she wasn't even the heir. She's like 4th or 5th in line. I would not be surprised if she pulled out daggers and started murdering everyone.
What kind of kicked it off?
It just how she grew up.
Yeah.
It was she became a very deceitful, terrible person.
Oh, nice.
And she went out and I think there was an event where she embarrassed me by getting drunk and parties.
Did you do like the exploration education thing where you just let them go off and find their own way, or how did she?
No, because then they never have kids or whatever it said.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think the exploration is literally just like kicks them out of the court.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that.
Yeah, that's what it seemed upon reading it, so I really did not want to do that.
But yeah, it's a historical 4X that covers mostly the ancient up to, I guess, kind of the early medieval era a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell when the game is actually supposed to like end. But like,
I like that a lot. Like, you get a lot of time with your troops. You don't have to be like, oh my god, I'm in the next era. I need to get crossbowmen. Right. And like, it feels slower paced, but sort of not in a bad way. Like going out to the countryside and taking a stroll through the woods instead of down through the park in the city. It's
like one of the issues I've had with like Civ and Humankind is it feels like just because history's flying by so fast, a lot of the human aspect of it just kind of gets lost.
Yes.
And I like that you actually can like spend time with characters, and you know you have. See if I can find the right screen here. Yeah, like you have a family tree, and you can look at, you know, you actually know who these people were, and they actually live like reasonably long lifetimes. Actually,
and you need to use them in your court, and you marry into different families. Also, I discovered that I started with 4 families as Dido, but I didn't establish my 4th city fast enough, and my 4th family just disappeared. They died out or something because they didn't have a reason to get married and have kids. No, they didn't actually have a family seat.
I think that's intended now. Like I think that you pick 3 and then the 4th one gets discarded. That wasn't how it worked in the preview, but I think that is how it's supposed to work now. Yeah, in my Greece game here, so all the starting leaders are historical leaders. They're not necessarily all
Mhm.
people who lived at the same time, which is a little weird. But yeah, in my Greece game, Alexander. So this is like Alexander, as in Alexander the Great, was blinded as a child in a military training accident. So he became,
Oops.
yeah, instead of a conqueror, he became like this scholar. I guess they invented some like ancient Greek braille or something for him. And yeah, he was
Well,
actually he was
maybe he was wealthy. He could have just had people read to him.
true. Yeah, like his military stats were still off the charts. Unfortunately, I couldn't use him as a general because blinded prevents him from being a general or a council member. Um, Yeah, and then my most recent guy married a Gaul to make peace with the Gauls, which upset some of my noble families because they don't like us marrying foreigners. Um, yeah, do you have a favorite of the are they calling them civs or nations or whatever
I've
you
only
played so
played
far?
Carthage so far.
Okay,
Which Dido is interesting. I took her down an exploration path.
what is their like unique stuff? I haven't played Carthage yet.
Um, can't think of off the top of my head.
I would assume it's
They
like naval related, probably. But...
Not so much naval.
Oh,
It's a lot
really?
of trade related.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
one of my families, when I established with them, I could build caravans that I could send off for trading bonuses, and I get huge stacks of gold depending on how far away the capital was.
I see.
I'm not
Okay.
sure. You get with those. Another family, when I settled them, I would get a free worker,
Nice.
which was useful. I like how the workers. It feels kind of like a board game in that you have your specific number of orders, like a Euro style board game.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite thing about the orders system is I think it makes playing tall more viable because you can have
Hmm.
like less stuff, but if you have more orders than your enemy does, you can like you can move more units than they can and you can maneuver more, which is kind of interesting. I also like that it kind of cuts down on like those super long terms in like late game Civ. Where you're like, okay, I have 36 military units I have to move this turn. Like it's like, nope, you can only move as many as you have orders. Eventually, I think you can buy them with training, which is like your military
Yeah,
source.
that's also cool how you can buy resources. You're like, okay, I
Hmm.
really need to build this stoneworks, but for some reason I've only got 9 wood this turn. I don't want to wait another turn, so I'm just going to spend some money and buy a 10th piece of wood.
Right. Yeah, that's really nice. I've also found that I don't know if this is intended, but wood, if you focus on like lumber mills and stuff, it seems like wood always has a way higher price than any of the other resources. So you can sell it for a lot of money and then buy the other resources super cheap. That always seems to happen to me.
See, where I started on the map, it was did not have a lot of wood.
That
I have a
did
lot of
happen.
plains and hills.
That did happen in my Egypt game. In my Egypt game, I couldn't get wood to save my life, which is kind of
Yes.
historically accurate. I think they had to buy a lot of wood from
Mhm.
elsewhere to build a navy and stuff. But
Yeah, I have struggled with wood multiple times.
yeah,
And I have like 4 forests, 5 forests total out of like 4 cities.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got a lot of mines and quarries, a lot of quarries. Yeah, I
this
still keep using so much stone.
this was my masterwork right here. This town complex where towns I think get bonuses from like theater or entertainment type buildings. So this one has 3 adjacencies, this one has 2 adjacencies, and this one has 2 adjacencies, and that's why I have a ridiculous amount of money. Um,
That's
to
pretty cool.
yeah,
What do you think of
yeah.
uh,
Oh,
what do
go
you think
for
of
it.
like how you have to build wonders and stuff, you need certain amounts of resources, not just like production something.
Yeah, well, like I actually I built the Hagia Sophia here, which kind of gives you an idea of where like the end date of the game is supposed to be. Um, which I didn't mind so much that it cost a lot of like raw materials because you can just buy those if you don't have them. The part that kept tripping me up was that a lot of them, maybe all of them, cost civics as well, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just a thing you generate over time. You can't buy more of them, and then like a lot of the late game laws you can pass costs civics per turn too. So I felt like I just never had enough civics for what I wanted to do. Um, yeah, I mean, what I do like about it is that you claim wonders, sort of this is how you do in Humankind, so you're not gonna like get it canceled on you. I don't think. At least
Yeah,
I'm
once you
pretty
start
sure.
building it, I think.
Right. Yeah, I didn't mind it too much, honestly.
I see you're missing a court position. You're
Yeah,
missing a dude.
I don't think I have. I think I can't hire any. Yeah, once again, because I don't have enough civics, I can't. I can't hire a new ambassador right now.
What
Yeah.
is it? There was something you could do to make more civics.
There are buildings for it. Yeah, I think the palace. Yeah, the palace gives you civics. Just need to build more government buildings, basically.
Uh,
Also,
it's the year turn 146. I'm still at like turn 50 or something.
also,
It's just
Mohawk. Why are the horses so big? These are the biggest. The biggest thing on the entire map are horses. Like they seem like they're completely out of scale with everything else. I guess camels and elephants are too. They're
yeah.
gigantic. Like look at compared to like the regular
The
soldiers.
elephant I can kind of get a little bit, but the
Yeah,
other animals, the
it's like
cows are giant too.
yeah, I'll have this nice little orchard, and then there's like these massive kaiju horses just hanging out here. I will download a mod as soon as there is one that just is like the shrink horses mod. That kind of takes me out of it when they're just towering over the landscape
Well,
here.
I also the first time I saw the horses, real quick, scrolling through the map, I thought because of that black and white one that they were cows.
Oh yeah, look, he's not. He doesn't even fit in the pen. Look, his leg is going through the fence. These are yeah. These are
Oh, speaking of resources,
uh-huh.
though, it is cool when you're like early on when your city is fairly small, you need wood or you need a
Uh-huh.
special resource. You can go and collect it with your scout or your warrior
Right.
or worker.
Right. I really liked that too. And like as long as you don't clear the land, like the forests and like scrubland will eventually grow back. So it's not like
Yes.
in Civ where like if you harvest it, it's gone forever.
Which until you get lumber mills, that's the only way to get wood.
Right. Which is probably why it's always so damn expensive on the market.
Oh, we have Mohawk Games in chat, Leanna, saying that
Oh
if you need
hey.
civics, switch from divine rule to legal code.
Oh, okay. The reason I'm running Divine Rule is because it lets you have a pagan religion as your state religion, and I kept Greek paganism instead of converting to one of the world religions. So I think I lose the benefits of that if I switch to the other law code. If I remember right. Okay. Can adopt pagan state religions. I guess it doesn't say that I lose it as a state religion if I switch, but I guess I could always just convert to Zoroastrian or something if I really wanted to. But I wanted to keep the Greek gods because they're pretty cool, I think. But hey, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, I won't spoil what I said about it in the review because, like I said, that's going up either later today, or early tomorrow. But I've been enjoying it. There's a learning curve. I was describing it as almost like this is a postgraduate game for people who already have a bachelor's degree in civilization. Because it kind of
I
takes.
guess so.
It's like the base mechanics are as complex as Civ, and then it adds stuff on top of that.
Yeah, and if you haven't played a game like CK,
Right.
then you would struggle with the family situation. Or Imperator. Imperator could get you settled with this.
It's similar. It's similar, I think, in overall complexity to a Paradox game, in some ways at least. Yeah. So
You know what I am sad about though?
what?
I submitted the Rosebud to their child competition last year. And he didn't win.
Oh, well. No, it's okay. So I changed my mind. It's terrible game. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, yeah. Yeah. There's like stuff like you have to keep the different families happy by
Hmm.
getting them luxury resources and things like that, and
And you
they
also
can
have the barbarian tribes.
right. Yeah. Pay no. I didn't conquer Gaul. Why would I ever do that? Don't pay no attention to whatever happened up here. Beats me. I don't
I
know what
see
happened.
nothing.
Yeah,
I
just
see, I
these
see nothing.
two pillaged city sites near the Hyber River. I don't know what
Oh,
happened there.
speaking of those city sites or whatever, the barbarians. I think it was the
Uh,
Scani, I can't remember the word. The that starts with that.
Scythians?
Scythians. Yes, the Scythians. They are KOS to you. And I took down their last troop and destroyed their last little site because they had been hemmed in by the mountains. I don't think they ever had more than one site. And immediately it was like, oh yeah, they've now been conquered, but here's 5 more barbarian troops that have spawned as, the people that ran away are like coming back to get revenge or something. It was a little terrifying.
Yeah, they can be in the early game. If you spawn near them, they can be trouble. I also realized I never clicked the adopt state religion button. Which I don't have enough civics to do. So that civic, that law is actually not really doing anything for me at the moment. I don't think. Um, but hey, you live and learn. Yeah.
On top of that, one thing I did notice that the AI is just as bad as in other, 4X games. This looks like a good city site, so I'm going to jump over everyone and go build the city site out of the way because it looks cool. Even though, it's really far away from all my other cities.
Well, one way that I think that the AI is actually much better, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but the military AI is like significantly better than Civ 6.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
yeah, like they really seem to understand how to use their troops to their strengths. They kind of understand how to use terrain, how to fall back, and like how to attack in concert in a way that I have not seen the Civ 6 AI do even after years and years of updates. So they might be a little weird in where they decide to settle, but when you're actually fighting a war, I actually am pretty impressed with how well the AI works. Also that the different unit types, like, they're all good at something, but it doesn't take like 3 paragraphs of text to tell you why they're good. It's just like Axemen have a cleave attack. Spearmen, they have zone of control against cavalry, and they can hit 2 people in a row. Like it's all stuff that's like pretty simple overall, but it feels like chess. Like you don't need a half hour to explain what all the chess pieces do, but the bonuses are significant. So
Apologies if you hear my husband or the Rosebud. Rosebud is outside the door wanting in.
oh, that's fine. We should probably wrap up here. Was there any last things you wanted to say about humankind or your experience with it so far?
You mean old world, not
Sorry,
humankind?
my brain is absolutely fried. Old world. Or humankind. If you had a thought about humankind that just came to you for no reason, you could also...
I wish the combat system from humankind was in old world, kind of. In terms of, like, the battles. In some ways. But also I feel like it doesn't need it. If that makes sense, like, I miss it and I want it here, but I also don't think it's needed.
I see. Yeah, I can see where you're saying. I think I might actually prefer this. Just because, like I said, it's simple, but there's a lot of depth to it.
That is something I do really like, is how your troops, as long as you have them just chilling in your home, you can upgrade them. You use your military points, whatever they're called up there, the red shields. You can give them 4 upgrades when they haven't even fought anybody yet.
Right, so it like represents a more strict training regimen. I really like that too. That like early on, you can kind of decide whether you want to have a smaller, more elite military or like a bigger military. I liked that a lot, for sure. So, yeah, my review of this will be up fairly soon. If it's not today, it'll probably be tomorrow, which will be the same day you're listening to this on SoundCloud. Well, I'm one episode behind, so this might get up on Friday.
We can blame Father Loris for that one.
Yeah, that was not actually my fault this time. Father Loris didn't get me his
And
audio file.
YouTube is up to date, and the YouTube episode from last week is ready to go up. I just need the title and everything. So
Okay, cool.
waiting.
Yeah. So in addition to Old World, what else have you been up to lately, Rose? And where can people find your stuff?
I'm streaming Old World. I'm also streaming Stardew Valley every week with Pat Adams, who's in chat. We're doing some fun multiplayer.
Oh,
I
nice.
love that game.
Stardew's awesome.
Yes.
I mostly play it on Switch now. It's like a perfect portable game for me.
Yeah, it's just there's something just so peaceful and relaxing about it. Though multiplayer is not quite so relaxing just because you can't pause, but it is still a very
Yeah.
chill game. Yeah, there's no pausing or cutscenes or anything. So quite often you just like skip through it. I really want to talk with you, Shane, and drink beer on the pier and listen to your thoughts on the world, but it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I will pass out if I don't skip it.
I've stayed out drinking with friends and passed out from exhaustion before. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. That's on Mondays and every other Wednesdays. Not tonight though.
All right.
What else? Yeah. Oh, and then TikTok. I've actually, yeah, TikTok not video game stuff, baby stuff. So if you're a parent and or you want to see a cute, adorable baby /
Yeah.
toddler, technically a toddler now. He's walking and trying to run.
Oh no, that
Yes.
sounds dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
I have been since March actually working on the IGN reveal stream for Company of Heroes 3, which happened yesterday, and then I fell asleep for 20 years. It is not necessarily grand strategy, but if you like, especially Hearts of Iron, you're probably also a Company of Heroes fan, I would think. So I wrote like 10 articles about it. You can go check them out on IGN. Like I said, my review of Old World will be up there shortly. I'm not streaming regularly at this point, but Lore Sworn Order is my channel. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know when I go live. Generally, Sundays are the day for that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
We'll be back next week.
We will. We'll be back next week with another episode, hopefully with the rest of the crew. And thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.